Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode 3 of our Star Wars themed VR tutorial mini-series. In our first episode, we created a super low poly character. In our second episode, we created a very super low resolution material for that character. And in this episode, we are going to create some bones so that we can move our character around. So here we go. Here is our Han Solo in all of his low glory. Excellent, guys. Very good. All right, hit the 1 key to go into your front viewport, and that is the 1 key on your numpad. All right. Now, in order to make things a little bit less cluttered, let's go ahead and click on this plus sign over here. Scroll all the way down to the bottom to where it says background images, and just turn that background image off. Uncheck it, and it will disappear. Very good. And we will slide this menu back where it belongs. Okay, the second thing we need to do is make sure that our pivot point for our character is at its feet. So first of all, we're going to make sure that the feet are along the 0 of the x-axis, okay, of the xy axis, and or the xyz, whatever, and also that our 3D cursor is also in the center. If you misplace your 3D cursor, that is okay. It's really easy to get back. Just hit SHIFT+C and it will zero itself out. Excellent. Okay, now go ahead and select your character, and we're going to deal with this little rotation thing. So we're going to set the origin over here in Tools, set the origin to 3D cursor. Boom. Okay, there we go. That means he will be able to be much more useful in Unity. All right, guys, very good job. We are going to hit the A button to deselect stuff, and then we're going to hit the 1 key on the numpad to go into our front viewport again. All right, now it's time to build some bones. So we're going to hit SHIFT+A, and that's going to give us the Add menu, and we want to come down here to this second segment and choose Armature, Single Bone. All right, that single bone has appeared. We're going to go ahead and pull it up to about the hips, which is just fine. And over here we have this little man. That's our armature. All right. His name is Han Solo. Han Solo bones. Excellent. Now you notice that we can no longer see that bone. It's on the inside of the character, and we want to be able to see it so that we can manipulate it. So hit the X-ray button, and you can see it pops right through. It's not outside of the character, it's still inside of it, but because we are X-raying, we are able to see it. Now, I personally don't like the shape of these bones. I never have, so I use B-bone. You can use stick, you can use envelope, you can use wire, which looks a lot like stick, but I use B-bone. Okay, and it just seems cleaner to me for whatever reason. Hit 1 on the numpad to center it again, or to go into your front ortho. And let's go ahead and jump into edit mode. Excellent. Now when you jump into edit mode, it sees that you already have a bone, and obviously there's only one thing that you can really move on this bone, and that is this particular vertice. So hit the G button and it will grab it, and then you can position it right up here near the chest. Now, if you're just moving it around, there's a possibility of things becoming wonky to either side, so just hit the control button and it will snap it to the grid. All right, we want to move it up. There we go. And excellent. So we're going to hit the E button to extrude out another bone. Hold down control so that it stays perfectly aligned. And it's not necessary for this to be aligned along the z-axis properly as it is for it to be aligned along the x-axis properly. So we're going to drag this down. We don't need to hold control for dragging it down. We just need to make sure that we're hitting control when we're trying to move it upwards, because otherwise his bones are going to be crooked. Okay, so there we go. Hit the E button again. Excellent. To the chin, and then the E button again to the top of the head. Excellent. Go into your side viewport with the 3 button on your numpad, and then just drag things to where they would naturally be in the center of whatever object you are using. Okay, so there we go. Everything seems to be rather well centered. All right, let's make some arms. Okay, now we already saw that when we created our first bone with a SHIFT+A, it centered it right here on our 3D cursor, and that's fine. but we're going to use our 3D cursor up here now to center it to the shoulder. Now hit Shift+A, boom. Now because you're in edit mode, and it knows that you're dealing with bones, Blender will go ahead and automatically just create a new bone for you without having you go through the add menu. So that is very handy. Now, as we know, once something is selected, it will be manipulatable. So hit the G button, excellent, and then drag it down to the elbow. All right, we're going to hit the E button and go down to the wrist. We're going to zoom in real close here, and then hit E to create a hand to the knuckle, and then create a knuckle to knuckle, and then a knuckle to fingertip. And we're not going to worry about creating any thumbs because, like I said, we wanted a simple mesh, simple material, and a simple rig. So just as quickly as you can possibly make things so that you can rapidly prototype something. And it's really good for crowds too because, hey, when things are zoomed out this far, you can't really tell what kind of, details you're missing. But let's zoom in, go into our front viewport with one on the keypad, okay? Hit Shift+A, and now we've got a new bone. Hit G, bring it down to the knee. Hit E to bring it down to the foot. Hit the 3 button to go to the side, and we are going to drag this all the way over to the heel. Drag this to the center of the knee, and drag this one to the center of the hips. Okay, come back down here to our bottom where we have our heel, hit the E button, and we're going to drag out a foot. Perfect. Good job, guys. All right, now we need to make sure that our arm is in the proper place. So hit 3, come over here, drag the shoulder to the center of the shoulder, the elbow to the center of the elbow, the wrist to the center of the wrist, the knuckle to the knuckle, the other knuckle to the other knuckle, and the fingertips. Excellent. Excellent, guys. Very good. Okay, now here comes the boring part. We're going to go ahead and name everything. Oh, I know. It's terrible. Okay, so we've got Han Solo bones. He's been named. We're going to go over here to our actual bone menu. That's our first one. Let's go ahead and call it spine. Okay, our next one will be, no, not shoulders. We're going to call this chest. All right. Next one will be neck. Next one will be head. Okay, and now we are going to name these things with an addition to, I don't know, a suffix. Okay, so we're going to call this one upper arm underscore L. Okay, and that L is to symbolize, that we've got it's on the left side. Okay, so here we are with this one. We're going to call this forearm underscore L. Zoom in down here. We're going to call this one hand underscore L. The next one will be knuckle underscore L. And the last one shall be fingertips underscore L. Excellent, guys. Okay, now let's name the legs. We're going to call this one thigh underscore L. This one is going to be calf underscore L, or I guess you can call it shin. And then this last one will be foot. Foot underscore L. Excellent. Okay, now hold down the Shift button and let's select all of these new bones because we are going to duplicate them. Okay. Boom. All right, we should have everything selected. Zoom in to make sure. Okay, good. And what we're going to do is hit Shift-D to duplicate. Okay, now once you have duplicated it out, go ahead and click on the right mouse button. That'll snap it back to the origin of where it was created, and you could even move this to just be sure. All right, now we are going to flip this by doing something totally crazy. We're going to scale it along a negative x-axis. I know it doesn't seem like it makes any sense, but watch this. Okay, we're going to hit S, X, -1, and it flips it. All right, and once it's flipped, just hit the left mouse key and it will accept those changes. So drag this over to where the thing should properly be, and then come over here to armature and choose flip names. Boom. Now we have upper arm underscore L or R, and then upper arm underscore L. Okay, and it does add these numbers to it. It shouldn't, when you use the flip names, it should get rid of that 001, but it doesn't. Even in the manual it says it should, but doesn't. Oh well. Maybe we will figure that out in a later video. Okay, it's not important. It doesn't really affect anything. So now we need to do some quick parenting so that when our mesh is moving, everything moves with it. So go ahead and click on this upper arm and this upper arm, and we want to attach them to the chest. So click on the chest. Now when we're parenting things, the last object you select will be the object that becomes the parent. Okay, so these arms will be children of the chest. All right, so now that all three of them are selected and the chest was selected last, hit Control+P. All right, now you have two choices here. You can choose connected or keep offset, and we always want to choose keep offset, unless you don't really want to. So if we hit connected, I'll show you. It will snap basically the bones to each other. That's not what we want. Control+Z, Control+P, and we are going to keep offset. Boom. And now we can see our parenting lines. Excellent. So now we're going to click both of these thighs. Boom. And the spine last. Click the spine last. Hit Control+P and keep offset. Excellent, guys. All right. Now that that is set up, we are going to parent the actual mesh to our bones. So to do that, we need to get out of edit mode, go into object mode. There we go. And like I said, if we want our parent to be these bones, if we want these bones to be our parent, we need to select them last. So first, select this guy, and then next, select his bones, holding down the Shift key. And now you can see that we've got both of them selected. The bones were selected last. Hit Control+P. Now, because we are not in the bone menu, we're not in the edit mode of the bones, we have more selections. So it can tell what we are selecting and what we are wanting to do with it. So we are going to choose armature deform with automatic weights. Boom. All right. So now if we select just the bones and go into pose mode, we should see that things should move more or less the way that we want them to. Excellent. All right, in the next video, we're going to actually tackle weight painting, because what happens when you deform a character and you see something like, this. Actually, let's undo our X-ray real quick, and you can see that this leg has collapsed in on itself. And we don't really want that. We can easily change that by adding an edge loop right here. Or we can just adjust the weights, and that is probably the best way to do it, especially if you're trying to keep your poly count super low. All right, so thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you have been having a lot of fun with this. You can see how his shoulders are deforming, and that is something that will definitely be figured out with the weight painting. So be sure to tune into that, and I will see you guys in the very next episode. Don't forget to leave a comment and a like and a subscribe, because these are a lot of fun to make, but I don't always have a lot of time to make them. If I get more comments and subscribers and all that stuff, it definitely helps to justify spending time on them. So, oh yes, we've got our cursor out here in the middle of nowhere. Shift+C to center it. Okay, there we go, and we don't have to keep any of these changes, so just Control+Z until you get back to a decent. There you go. Okay, I guess that's it. I will see you guys in the very next episode.